Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Belmont Park here on Saturday. It is May the 13th, 2017. Going to look at the stakes races on today's program from Belmont, races 4, 6, 8, and 10. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. It gonna rain in New York. That's an understatement. We're gonna get bucketfuls of rain, and so make sure you handicap for a very, very, very heavy turf course with loads of rain. I think we're getting, and I live about 10 minutes from Belmont. We're expecting 2 inches of rain. 2 inches of rain. If it was a snowstorm, it'd be about 2 feet. So that could give you, that could give you about how much rain we're really gonna get. So just handicap for a very heavy race course. So let's get on to it. Races 4, 6, 8, and 10 from Belmont. The 4th race from Belmont is the local prep for the Belmont Stakes coming up in about 5 weeks' time. It's the 63rd running of the Peter Pan Stakes, grade 3, purse $200,000. It's for 3-year-olds. Field of 6 3-year-olds going the distance of ground of 1,800 meters or 1 mile and 1/8 on the main track. 1 mile and 1/8. My top pick in this one, I like the number 3 horse. Number 3, Meantime. I'm going to go 3-1-2-4 in the superfecta, 3-1-2-4 super. But my top pick, number 3, Meantime. 5-1, Jose Ortiz for Brian Lynch, this 3-year-old colt out of Shackleford. I always thought about Shackleford being like a one-turn miler horse. Basically, a mile and 1/8 at Belmont is an elongated sprint. And, I think this horse has enough speed to set the pace and slow it down and have easy fractions. I think he'll run a big one. He's had some wet tracks success and experience. That came last start out about 3 weeks ago at Keeneland on the 22nd of April. Muddy surface, a mile and 1/8 in the main special weight for $59,000. Horse won by 7.5 lengths that day. From the outside, was a little bit wide that day, but took off in the stretch. Easy drawing away victory. 80 cents a dollar. Ran like an 80 cents a dollar horse should run. He's facing stakes quality horses today for the first time. Don't think that should be a problem. Like I said, the one turn should really be up this horse's alley. And then start before this horse had a start at Gulfstream Park, April the 1st, 7 furlongs in a main special weight for $48,000. Horse finished third by 5 1/4 lengths that day. Got screwed by the outside post, broke from 10 out of 10 that day, and, closed up a tiny bit at the end, but you don't want to be wide at Gulfstream. This is the first time this horse actually, in his 3 short starts of his career, this is the first time he has a good post draw. Last time he had 7, then he had 10, and then his first career start on the 18th of February at Gulfstream Park, going a mile in main special weight for $38,000. From the 9 hole, this horse finished second by 1 3/4 lengths. Went straight to lead, but then was kind of dueling a little bit. He just weakened the second. He lost to Patch, and Patch is a very nice horse, but this horse just couldn't keep up with him. But it was a very tough race. Second start out, he was a little bit wide again, and when he saved ground a little bit last time, he won. Like I said, I think the slop should be to this horse's liking. I think he'll run a big one here today. So to recap my bets for the 4th from Belmont, it's the 63rd Peter Pan Stakes. Going to go with the 3 horse here, Meantime. I'm going to go 3-1-2-4 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 6 from Belmont. The 6th race is the 40th running of the Beaugay Stakes, grade 3, purse $150,000. It's for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds, and upwards. Field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of hopefully a mile and 1/16 or 1,700 meters on the inner turf course. Hopefully they run it. And I show this diagram. It gives me a second to look down at my notes. Just bear with me. Mile 16th, hopefully on the turf course. And my top pick of this one, I like the number 3 horse, Hawksmoor. I'm going to go 3-6-4-7 in the superfecta. 3-6-4-7 super. But my top pick, number 3, Hawksmoor. 12-1. Julien Lepeau is on this 4-year-old filly out of Azamor. Most recently, this horse I start my birthday, November 25th at Churchill. Mile 16th on a good turf course in the grade 2, Mrs. Revere. Horse finished 6th by 13 lengths that day, was just under evens that day, and was very wide, had a tiny bit, but it just wasn't enough. I think coming here facing a little lesser quality horses than she did last time in the Miss Revere, she should have a better run. His first start in the United States at Keelan, a mile and an eighth in the Queen Elizabeth II Cup. That was under previous trainer Hugo Palmer that day. This horse finished third by head. This horse just sat off the pace that day, got the lead in the stretch, and just got overtaken in the head bob right before the wire. Disappointing beat, but it was very, for her North American debut, it was an okay race. And then start before she ran in the Matron Stakes at Leopardstown, September 10th, 1 mile. This horse finished fifth by 6 lengths behind Alice Springs. Very nice, I believe, Coolmore horse for Aidan O'Brien. He just sat off the pace that day and didn't quicken up with the rest of them. Disappointing beat, but this horse loves heavy or yielding or soft ground. Last time this horse ran on a yielding ground came on June the 5th last year in Germany, in Dusseldorf, in the German 1,000 Guineas. This horse won by half length with Joe Doyle coming over from the UK to ride this horse. Had a great turn of foot, just sat off the pace that day, got the lead in the stretch and took off. Very, very nice victory. Before that they ran at Deauville in the Prix Saint-Hilaire. This horse finished third that day, and again he was setting the pace with that day and kind of weakened out of it. That was on very, very dry ground, but before that this horse had a third place finish in the Phillies mile behind Minding, a very nice Coolmore horse again. But this horse broke her maiden on the all-weather attempt in 2015, but after that, our second one after that came at the Glorious Goodwood meet, or excuse me, not the Glorious Goodwood meet, the regular Goodwood meet back in late August of 2015 on a very wet turf course. This horse won by nose and loved every bit of it. She's faced tougher horses in the UK. She's stepping down in class today. She likes a heavy turf course. She should run a very big one here today, so watch out for this one. So to recap my bets for the 6th from Belmont to 40th Beaugay, I'm going to go with the 30-horse Hawksmoor. I'm going to go 3, 6, 4, 7 in the superfecta. To race number 8 now from Belmont. The 8th race is the 59th running of the Man of War Stakes. Grade 1, purse $400,000, which for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1 mile and 3/8 on the Widener turf course, or 2,200 meters. The portable rail will be set at 22 feet or 18 feet from its true position. I can't remember now. But they're going a mile 3. It's 2,200 meters. The rail's set at 27 feet. I was wrong both times. 27 feet the rail will be set at. And another race, you have to handicap it for being the horses that can handle the wet grounds. I think the 4-horse is the Irish Invader Zukova could run well. She's had experience on very heavy ground, and she I think she prefers the heavy ground actually. So I'm going to go with the 4-horse Zukova. I'm going to go 4, 3, 1, 7 in the superfecta. But my top pick, number 4, is Zukova. Dermot Weld trains this 5-year-old mare out of Fascinate Rock. She's taking on the boys today. She's getting first-time Lasix. She gets John Velazquez, 2-time Kentucky Derby winning rider up today. First start in the States. This horse faced so much tougher in the UK or in Ireland last year. But most recently, this horse had to start about 3 weeks ago in Cork in Ireland. April the 15th, a yielding turf course, 2,400 meters or a mile and a half, and just a basic stakes race. Horse won by 2 lengths that day, carrying 131 pounds, which is quite heavy that day. This horse just ran incredibly well. Sat a tiny bit closer to the pace, and got the lead and took off clear. Is only carrying 112 pounds today, which I think is great against these quality horses, and I think this horse will really open up well here today. Start before in the UK at Ascot, October the 15th in the British Champion Stakes for the mares. This horse finished 7th by 14 3/4 lengths that day. Lost to Journey and Speedy Boarding and Queen's Trust. Queen's Trust, I believe, actually next start out won the British Cup Filly Mare Turf. But this horse was up with the leaders early on, then hit the wall in the straightaway. It wasn't her day to win. Start before in the Kilterran Stakes at Leopardstown, a mile and a half, September the 10th. Good ground. This horse won by half length. Quickened up very nicely. Lost to who finished second was a horse by the name of U.S. Armor Ranger, who just ran in the UK at Chester this week, and I think he had a second place finish. Ran well, but this horse just had a very good front running victory that day. Before that on soft ground at Naz back in May the 11th in just a basic Group 3, this horse won by 7.5 lengths. Easy victory. Won a very nice race at Curra last year on a very heavy ground. We're going to see a heavy ground here today. She has experience on a heavy ground. She likes it. She should do well here today, facing on the boys, especially with the big weight change. So to recap my bets for the 8th race from Belmont, it's the 59th Man of War. Going to go with the 4-horse Zukova. I'm going to go 4-3-1-7 in the superfecta. To race number 10 now from Belmont Park, the final race on today's program that I'll be looking at for YouTube. The 10th race is the 41st running of the Ruffian Stakes, Grade 2 purse $250,000. It's for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 5 horses going the distance of grounds of 1,600 meters or 1 mile on the main track. 1 mile. My top pick in this one, I like the number 1 horse. Number 1, High Ridge Road. High Ridge Road, the 1 horse. I'm going to go 1-3-5-4 in the superfecta. 1-3-5-4 super, but my top pick, number 1, High Ridge Road. 2-1, Jose Ortiz for Linda Rice, who trains his 5-year-old mare at a Quality Road. Most recently, this horse had a start on the 8th of April at Keeneland. 7 furlongs in the Grade 1 Madison. Facing a little bit tougher that day. This horse finished 7 by 6 lengths. It was a little bit wide that day and just didn't have the best closing kicks. It was her first start in 6 weeks, so maybe she needed the race. I think coming back here today, she should do a little bit better facing, like I said, the lesser quality horses. Start before in the Barbara Fritchie at Laurel 7 from February the 18th. Horse won by a neck, really had a great turn of foot in the stretch run and just was driving at the end. Great run. The second and third place finishers both won next to that, so keep that in mind. But before that, this horse ran the 38 and Go Stakes at Laurel December 31st. Horse won by half length, closed up very nicely for the victory. And if you're wondering if this horse has success on a wet track or is experienced a wet track, she has in her short career, actually quite long career. She's 2 for 2 on a wet track. She won at Laurel in May of 2016. Going a mile on a sloppy racetrack, winning by 9 lengths, easy victory there. And then on the main track at Aqueduct back in November 2015, muddy track, 1 mile main special weight for 60,000. Horse won by length, really loved every bit of it. I think here today she should have a very good run, so I'll use her as a top pick. So to recap my bets for the 10th from Belmont's, the 41st Ruffian. Going to go with the 1 horse, High Ridge Road. I'm going to go 1-3-5-4 in the superfecta. So good luck to all, and follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKit5. Good luck.